you take us through the decision with Adoree and the idea that you're bringing him back, this close to the season starting?
Yeah, like we've always said, we'll try to improve the team any way we can. Obviously, we've had a relationship with Adoree. Shane has had a relationship with Adoree. He came in the day that he signed, did a little bit of workout. We've been in contact with his representatives prior to that. And he looked good in the workout and got something done. So happy to have him aboard.
You wish you had done it sooner? I mean, if you're going to bring a veteran like that back, would that have been helpful?
Yeah, there's always different times, Kim, that guys come back or you release them. That was just, something that we thought would help our football team. Again, there's been conversations with him prior to the day we signed him. So, we'll get him back in the fold here and catch him up to speed as quick as we can and see what happens this week.
And I know this is the third. It's a quick one, though. Do you envision him starting right off the gate?
Yeah, I'd say we got to get him out here and, ramp him up and see where he's at. And, we'll take it day by day, see where he's at and how much to play him, how not to play him. I think that's what we'll look at this week.
Jordan Vernon.
Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Jordan?
How much, what do you say to Nick McLeod and Cordell Flodden? How much do their roles now change potentially?
Yeah, I'd say, Adoree is his first day back here. So we'll see where he's at. And, by the end of the week, we'll determine, what we're going to do relative to roster, play time, all those type of things. Those guys are, competitors. It's the NFL. So you try to make it as competitive as you can make it. And, we'll play the guys we think give us the best chance.
And then in regards to your opponent this week, it's game week now. You're focused on Minnesota. The Sam Darnold you face now, how different do you expect that, or the same? Do you expect it from the Sam Darnold 2-3 years ago? Yeah, he hasn't started a ton of games since then.
Yeah, when we were doing the quarterback tour back at Buffalo, spent a lot of time with Sam out at USC, working him out, taking him to dinner, meeting with him on the visits. Got a lot of respect for Sam. I know he's been to 4 different places, but he's an athletic quarterback that has good head on his shoulders, knows where to go with the football. He's surrounded by some really good players at Minnesota, and experience helps at any position. But always been a big fan of Sam, and he's got a good team around him, a good play caller, and be certainly a challenge.
Tom Canavan.
Morning, Brian.
Morning.
As you go into this week, do you have a healthy team, or is Micah still a question mark, or what?
Yeah, everybody's getting better. We'll put the injury report on Wednesday, but everybody's getting better.
Is Musso the option if Micah can't go?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it goes this week. Again, we'll put that out on Wednesday. We'll have a walkthrough today. We'll start it up tomorrow, and everybody that's available will be ready to play.
Thank you.
Yep.
Brian Donlevy.
Hey, Daves. I got about Darnold again. It reminded me of that scene in Hard Knocks where you guys were going through all the quarterbacks and how many different ones have been coached by different guys and the lack of stability, different teams. How much of a factor do you think that is for guys? Like, obviously, Sam's career has gone differently than you would have expected in 2018. How much of developing quarterback is stability?
I think it's important. Again, not to revisit 2018, but Lamar and Josh are in the same systems. And, Sam and Josh, they're in different systems. Baker's been in a different system. So, again, I think in every circumstance, Ryan, every situation is a little bit different. But I think, and I thought Sam was a good player coming out of USC. And, he's certainly been at a few different spots here. But has all the talent in the world, good young man, good head on his shoulders. And again, it's each situation is different. So again, you take a look at just that class, the 5, it was 5 right taken in the first round. 2 of them are on the same team and 3 of them aren't, or on multiple teams.
And then to switch gears, offensive line. What specifically, now that you've had them here and it's game week and whatnot, have Illuminor and Runyon added to your offensive line? And what is the expectation here for that group, knowing that they just started practicing together? Is it fair to expect them, to be game ready already?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'd say that the players that we've added, and I've said this too, Stinney included, have brought veteran presence, leadership, communication. They've played the game. They know how the game needs to be played. In terms of the 5 players playing, you're always, a work in progress. So those players have, when they've practiced, they've all practiced well, albeit not all together, but, they've all practiced well. They've come in, they've worked hard, they're smart, they communicate with one another well. And, the last couple practices we had here before the break, it was good to get them all out there. So, do everything you can do. That's just not them, that's everybody, to be as ready as you can go for week 1.
It was a bunch of back and forth from my agent end to them. And then later on down, I think this past week and a half, being able to talk to Joe on the phone, talk to Dabes. And that's pretty much how it ended up starting, and asked me to come out here. Got on the flight and, handle some business.
I would anticipate if you were, you're young to me, believe me, but if you were a much younger player, maybe it would be a little more of a process. But do you feel like you can jump right in? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I mean, can you just get right in there, even with the new defense and everything else?
I think, being able to know Shane and some of the things that he did when I was in Tennessee with him, understanding some of the verbiage may have changed, but easy for me to wire my mind onto how to compartmentalize what these defenses may be and some of the calls. So I think that's helpful. And then being able to stay in shape that I have been in, but then getting ramped up to get ready to go play. I know it's going to be a difference. So just trying to see where I am at. Whereas when I put these pads on, I've been out there in just shorts and cleats running around doing what I've been doing, to stay ready. So putting the pads on with a helmet is going to be a little different, but excited for the opportunity.
I have many more for you. I will cede to the other reporters. Welcome back.
Appreciate it.
Brian Donlevy.
Adoree, welcome back.
That's crazy. I'm looking at your name tag right here. This your plot? That's crazy. What's happening?
What's up? Can you tell us, did you think this door was closed at some point? Did you think my next team isn't going to be the Giants at some point this offseason?
No, I didn't think the door was closed. No, I didn't think that.
When I saw you at the Super Bowl, you said it was kind of like a break period for you guys. Like you were looking at other teams, they were going to look at other corners. Were there any hurt feelings on either side you guys had to get by? Like, hey, why didn't you want me in March? Or, hey, why didn't you want us as a team in March? Like any kind of stuff you had to get through to get to this point?
No animosity, no feelings, no ill intentions I think on my end. And then when I came in and seen everybody, it was like being at a family reunion, like, damn, I ain't seen you in a minute. Like, where you been? How you been? What you been up to? So I didn't have any vibes of anything being bad. When I, hit me up or they called me or text me, it wasn't like I didn't want to reach out or I didn't want to pick up the phone. I mean, I've been knowing them for 2 years. We didn't have relationships and talk before. Understand that things is a business, and I don't never want to put business with anything personal. That's just how life goes. And, in tune with who I am as a person and with my faith. So I wasn't really worried about too much and knew when something was right, it would be right and it would happen. And, here I am.
You mentioned what you were doing. What were you doing, Adoree? Like, did you have a personal trainer? Were you on your local football field? What were you doing these last, 5 months?
I really was back with my old high school track coach who does the lifting and speed work with me that we've been doing, and then doing position work frequently. So for me, I think just, having a set schedule, doing what I know, what my coaches know that I'm used to, working out wise, getting the position work in that I need to get in. I think one of the other cool things is, like Kim was saying, as a vet or someone that's older, knowing what I need and knowing what it takes to be ready and stay in shape, understanding my body, being able to take care of my body and do the right thing. So I think that whole process for me was just that. So no personal training, just back with everybody that I've been with from when I moved out to California. So it was good to always see them, get the workout, flashback on memories, create some new ones. So I was actually enjoying this off season.
Thank you, Adoree.
Paul Schwartz.
Adoree, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good. Nice to see you back.
Yes, I appreciate it.
As a veteran, right? I mean, they didn't bring you in as a coach; they brought you in as a player. But you are a veteran in the room now, right? In a room that's pretty young. Obviously, the Kinney's not there anymore, so the defensive back, the safeties are young. What can a veteran do to a very young group that can help?
It's very cliche, but pretty much lead by example. I mean, you can go out there and say a lot of different things and this and that. Obviously, they were retained to it from listening, but actually being able to see it and seeing how you work, seeing how you go about your business. So I think just that aspect and letting them be them. I don't want to come here and try to change, what they already know, what they already do. For my coach used to tell me, Deshae Towns, do what got you here, him and Dick LeBeau. So wherever it is that got you here, just keep doing that. And I'm just going to be here along the way to help any way possible. And I think that's, process for me.
And one thing, how do you assess the way you played last year? You were a guy, you played last year and then you were, free agent. And, did you have a lot of interest around the league? But what do you think your film last year showed?
I had some interest around the league. I don't think I played to my best. So I'm always critiquing myself. But yeah, I had interest around the league, but I didn't play to my best.